Good evening to you all. My name is Emmanuel Odeke. Welcome to this episode of Let's Talk. Today is the 28th of February, and that definitely tells you the month has ended. And because the month has ended, those who are waiting for salary, I'm sure a message has come on your phone telling you either Centenary or Stanbic or whichever has done something. Otherwise, I'm happy to be here again, and it is a good evening from Church of Uganda Family TV, right here at Church House along Kampala Road. Of late, it has been rebranded to Janani Luwum Church House, and so that is where we are. For any other thing, you definitely will get us here. So today I'm with Reverend James Luwum, who comes to us from St. John's Chapel Luzira, and we'll be discussing money and resources in marriage. But before we get there, two things that have been hitting my head this week from last week, and maybe we'll start with that. But before that, maybe you want to say hello to our viewers.
Hello, viewers. Good evening and praise the Lord. Thank you so much for tuning and watching the Family TV here at Janan Luwum Church House. I'm so blessed today, actually within the same month, also to be invited here at home where the Family TV is, to share with you pertinent issues. Indeed, as my brother mentioned, thank you so much. I brought you greetings from wherever I have been. Thank you.
Wherever he has been is Luzira. Just to be particular, he has been to Luzira Chapel, and in the prison there is a lot of ministry that he's doing there.
Sure.
With a team of pastors there. But before we go to this matter of money and resources, two things. This week, the president signed the bill.
The controversial one.
The controversial one. What do you have to say?
No, I actually, among the millions of people in Uganda, I must say I'm one of the happiest, because at last the bill has been ascended on. And this will not only help us to retain our norms and values as parents, as African, as Christians, but it will also give directive. You know, every home state must have a say on what their value is. And I'm saying I'm happy because Uganda, as a sovereign state, you know, must stand on its own ideology and defend what they need, and even be able to speak out exactly what could help its own children, you know, to live the way its desire is, other than to copy and paste from the neighborhood. You know, the life that you live depending on what the neighbor says. If the neighbor says, I'm eating chicken, if you don't have, should you go and steal? Definitely you will steal. If you want to steal, go by what the neighbor says. Really.
Now I saw that whoever will be found in that will succumb to life imprisonment.
Yeah. Anyway, not only life. Okay, it started from down. It will depend on, of course, I am not a lawyer, but start from 10 years and above. And today also I made a fun. Of course, I was celebrating the fact that I'm a chaplain for the prison. I said, let me now try to fasten up my counseling ability and prayer so that whoever comes, I make sure I tap into their lives and transform. Because these people, like other people are saying, they need our help. They need help. They don't need our support. We need to help them other than supporting them.
Now, in your cells and prisons there, male are put alone and women.
Definitely.
Won't it bring the vice into the prisoners?
No, yes, I'm not a spokesperson for Uganda Prison Service, but I'm the chaplain for Uganda Prison Service, not only as a reverend, but I'm also a rehabilitation officer, which means we have quite a number of, of solutions we are putting around. We have quite a number of welfare officers who deeply knows each and every one. And even me as a priest, we know our people. We know them by their characters. You know them by solutions that they need. So definitely we sit and plan. We know how to help them. In all our programs, we normally engage them right from Tuesday to Sunday, apart from Monday. So Tuesday to Sunday, definitely, if somebody is to stay with us, for example, as you said, for 10 years, really, don't you think we might have known them deeper? We could have known them deeper. We could have tried to help them. And trust me, friends, those who are, we call them inmates, and I call them our Christians, those people, by the time one come out, or even you, if you go to the prison, when your salvation is not well stable, trust me, you will come out when you are born again. Fully when you are born again. Because I'm not here to preempt what we do. And I'm not here to invite you to come to us. Actually, I warned you earlier not to come inside. But when you come inside, we'll do everything possible to make sure you come out when you are totally transformed. Because the core value of prison service is correctional service. We correct your life, we put you right. That is it.
Correcting what is wrong.
Correcting what is wrong, not supporting what is wrong.
There is no way prison service like the one we have in Uganda can support what is
No, but
wrong.
And I also want to tell you that right now Uganda prison service has been ranked one of the best in East, if not East, and actually East and Central Africa. They are the best in terms of transformation. No, we do transformation. We are not only retaining and keeping an inmates, but we make sure by the time an inmate get out to the community, they are rightful people. And recently when I'd gone out for a pastoral ministry, not within Kampala, of course we moved outside, and I was walking along with one of the officers. So from nowhere, a gentleman squat down and he greeted us. That is the beauty of discipline, which people come out from prison, because you will definitely identify somebody, the kind of discipline that they have in them. It's not about when somebody comes out. Of course, you cannot rule out. Not everybody will come out perfect, but the ministry continues, and we do follow them as well. We follow them to the dot.
Very, very important things here. On
Yeah.
a sad and bad note, we have human beings who have taken iron sheets meant for Karamoja. And in Uganda some things can make you happy. But with all the money some people have, again you go and steal just this I don't know. What is happening with some people's heads?
It's like driving in the city of Kampala. You see a lot of accidents. People are dying, not because they have not tasted death, but because lack of patience. People are not patient. 1 second could have allowed somebody to pass, but somebody still want to force themselves. So in the same way, even corruption, or taking what does not belong to you, or theft, is a matter of concern. Because if you really know that this book is meant for P7, why do I take it to university? It's supposed to help P7. It's not supposed to go and help some people in the institution. So anyway, I thank God we do pray that this kind of vice also stop, so that people do the right thing and help the right people. Help the right people with the right items. It will be wonderful. It will be wonderful. And our Uganda will be one of the best countries. Because we have sufficient, we have a lot of things, we have people, we have resources, but allocation, and sometimes the allocation goes well, but the disbursement and then apportioning it to the right people also tend to be a problem.
Very interesting things here. Sometimes I wonder, at least if they wanted to steal or grab, they would have grabbed to some people who are fairly doing well. Karamoja of all places. Karamoja.
Emma, you see,
No.
even people in Rukunjiri, they are like the Karamojong. Even people in Kitgum. So everywhere, so long as the government have decided to help certain community, it must go direct to them.
Reverend James, what I was trying, where I'm
Yeah, I understand.
Karamoja.
Yeah.
People were dying of hunger there.
Yeah.
A lot of dangerous stuff was happening. And again, but anyway, that is not for today. Let's discuss what brought us here today. So, money and resources in our families. What happens when you have a lot of money and then something happens and you get broke? So we'll be discussing that today and seeing what could be the best way forward to see that things are put right, and life moves on. What happens if the man at some point loses up a job and he has been the breadwinner and now it is the lady who is bringing all the bucks of money in the house? What happens? Do you want a peaceful family? Even when you are a broke man, you need to listen in today so that you don't miss out. So, Reverend James,
yes.
I was almost calling you Canon, I don't know.
I don't mind. Don't say you are prophesying.
I have not said I am not yet a prophet.
Don't do it.
So, let's look at money. How best can money be handled in families?
Well, thank you, Emma. This is a big topic that you raised to me. And indeed, when I was looking through the topic of money and resources, thank you. You did it as money and resources because resources collect everything, including money and human. And when I was trying to look through this, and I can even connect it easily to what you have just mentioned about what happens to some of the iron seeds given to a particular region and is taken to a different region. It's like money. You talk about marriage. You talk about familyhood. To me, money has never and will never ever be a problem. To me, no. To me, the problem is either bigger than money or is minute, very small. Why am I saying so? If we talk about marriage and then we talk about money, because here, marriage is the core value, is the all things. Money is a substance, something that came into marriage to spoil marriage. So, to me, I take it that marriage being core and important and the most important institution created by God could have not had any problem to do with money. Because number one, Emma, if you know why you are married, why will money come and then spoil your marriage? If I know why I've married my wife is called Mary. If I know why I married my wife and I love her, and this one will take me to the preparation, if I am prepared. If my parent prepared me, if I'm prepared to get married, and I've married somebody who has been prepared for marriage, trust me, money will never have issue in our marriage. Why? Because money will be something to help and motivate my marriage. So if I talk about why anyway did you get married, if you know it, then money will do nothing. Number two, which is very important, the preparation. Right now I complain because if you look carefully, the marriage as an institution in our time is more under attack than when my mom got married to my father. Money was not a big deal. Why? I could try to link it to the way how they were prepared. And I will be straightforward and ask you, Emma, thank God I knew you deeper. Before you got married, how many times did you sat down with your parent, with your dad, with your uncle, with your elder brothers to help and prepare you? Because marriage does not start when you are 25. A material for marriage is prepared right even from the age of 19. It's not about that I want you to go and get indulged into marriage and whatever. No. You sit down with your children, with your son, and let him or her know in 5-10 years to come he will get. Because this is one of the biggest thing in life. Marriage is bigger than what? Marriage is bigger than children. You understand? So why can't we spend time in preparing our children for that marriage? And if we prepare somebody well, money will not be an issue of fighting. Money will not be an issue of divorce. Actually, right now, 85% of issues, because I do marital counseling, 85% of things that bring people before me will be definitely linked to money. So I feel I should not just discuss about money. I feel I should even discuss and drop some few issues to parents about preparing their children for real marriage. That's what I could say. So because of that, it will now come to me to think about, then, what is the need for you to get married? Or what are the things that you need in your marriage? If I'm now married to my wife, Mary, as I mentioned, what is it that I need to supplement, to support me in marriage? One of it is money. One of it, not all. But right now, money is almost overpowering everything. So one of it is just now money. So if money is the issue, definitely it will give me the understanding, which I know well, that we cannot avoid to discuss issues of money in marriage. But we can avoid issues of money bringing marriage to its knees. You know, when I talk about its knees, it means begging or kneeling down. So definitely if that is done, then we will now be able to discuss what could be the solution. One, we need to know how to prepare people for marriage so that it should not only depend in money. So if maybe I could try to bring something a little bit. I've been at universities, I've been in the church, in different communities. If you see a girl, for example, who have clocked 25 years old, they will now be in what I could call it in a rush to get a partner. In a rush. They will do everything to win up a man's heart to marry her. And a boy, because he is now maybe about 25, 28 years old, will definitely be lost, because it's like bumping. You fell into things, you know. You are not prepared for things. You can see multitudes of young girls, beautiful, and because they have money, like in the case of the universities, they can even use money, they can even feed you. So now you will get lost. You will not marry because you need a material to marry. You will marry because you need a solution in life, which is money.
Very interesting things here. You might notice that in all functions, before you get married, you need money. To pay dowry, you need money. And nowadays, if you went to a young girl and told her you want to marry her, or you tell her you love her and you want to have an affair with her, the next question is, how is your wallet?
And before I leave it to you, just today, somebody sent me a post in WhatsApp, of course. And this young man and a young lady, they were talking about marriage. And this man was asking the lady for sex, which is the order of the day to most of the children, most of our people right now. Then the lady turned to him and said, "Excuse me, sir. Even a flight in a plane is expensive. Even buying a car is expensive. Everything. Now, how dare do you ask me to have sex with me in a cheaper way without buying it?" And I said, and thank God, this I watched before you invited me to come here. Then I said, now look at this. People are not in anything for the sake of having it, but they are for the sake of gaining. What will I gain from this? Which is a terrible sickness. You can.
So when we return from the break, a lot and more of this kind of discussions will definitely come up, and you don't want to miss out on this. This will help you, help somebody out there, and help you in your marriage. I'm still with Reverend James, who comes to us from St. John's Chapel Luzira. In the prison, right there is a chapel that does a lot of work in the prison and to the inmates in there. And so we are still discussing money, and money, resources in our families and stuff of that kind, and how they can be managed well. Early this week, probably on a Sunday morning, I saw a tweet of one person saying, what business can I start without income, without capital? And that was a lady who tweeted that, and you needed to have seen what answers she got right there. What business can I start without capital? That is Uganda for you. People want to start businesses without capital. Reverend James, let's pick it up from where we were. How best should money be managed? We have man earning. We have a woman earning. At some point, for example, mostly when it is the man footing the bills, there's literally no noise. Mm-hmm. But if the lady foot the bills for some time, to some ladies, it would cause a little alarm. What advice would you have to people out there in that regard?
Thank you, Emma. The best advice I could give to people out there who are following us, I might not be the best solution to give the best advice, but what I know, indeed, as you mentioned, when a man is putting up all the bills, there will be no problem. And this one will draw me back to, why did you got married? And of course, money being one of the issue, to support it, just to support it, but the purpose of getting a partner is bigger than money. And when you have got a partner, you need to sit down. There are some few things I will mention them later. But at this moment, I will give a simple advice to all our followers, our viewers on this mighty TV. That if you allow money, there's a common saying that if you allow money to be your masters, then you are doomed. But if you become the master to money, then you will be rich. Ugandans have money. Couples have money. Even young children, they know how to make money. But they have allowed money to use them. And because you have allowed money to use you, trust me, you will not reach your destination. And even right now, as a pastor, I am afraid to tell this out, that we are wedding too many people, which is good, but too many people are throwing rings very fast because they have not seen what they want in marriage, they have not seen what they need in a man, or they have not seen what they need in a woman. Why? The expectation, we had put it too high, above the level. The expectation that we need from each other is not only companionship, it's not only, stewardship, taking care of one another. So what I am trying to drive us at, it is possible that a family will be happy, family can manage life, and even you will realize those who have no money, who are tilling the ground, are more happy in marriage than those who are going to office every day, morning to evening, Monday to Friday. So what could be the problem? Money is driving us. And I don't know whether I'm picking exactly what you asked, but if you look now carefully, some time back, even when I was a young boy, it was men who are the heads of the family who worked. They go work, bring money home, and the wife take care of children. But because the demand nowadays is too much, the demand of school fees, the demand of feeding, the demand of almost everything, now allows the entire family to go and work. And because they all go and work, they put more interest in bringing money, but they fail how to use the money. And later on, the money will divide them. Like what you said, if a man is bringing money, there is peace. The man can feed the family for 10 years. I want maybe a lady to help us here. A man can feed the family for 10 years, but a lady barely feed the family. Sometimes, not all, please, not all.
Yeah, there are ladies out there who have done a very commendable
Yeah,
job.
there are many who have done it.
They definitely understand what is going on, and they've decided to put a lot to
And appreciate them so much. But what I am driving, it's rare sometimes to find a wife who is bringing money after the man may be losing a job, and the lady is supporting that home maybe for a year or two without saying, I'm now tired. It's too much on me. I cannot bear it. Definitely they will come. And slowly, it will crop up and bring arguments and fighting. Emma, recently I had a meeting. I will not share where I had it from. But in that meeting, we were many. And there's one teacher, a social worker actually, who made a very powerful statement. And she said, you, the church and the government, you need to come out and help women. Women are dying. Women have carried the biggest basket ever. Women nowadays are carrying 2 big baskets, whereby they have to do everything in the home. And then even the government is supporting women. How? Women emancipation, girl child education, girl child what? But where are we leaving men? Because we have put all the initiative and efforts on women, women are dying. And I must agree with ladies, women are dying of carrying heavy loads, yet they are supposed to support. Even the Bible says they are helper. But now, they are not helper. They are the real help. So I want also to appeal to men. I want to appeal to the government. I want to appeal to institutions, the NGOs. May we try to prepare young boys. May we try to prepare men. I like what my Archbishop, Dr. Stephen Samuel Kazimba, brought in, the boy child. Okay, you understand? Let us also start preparing boys so that they balance the equation of carrying the basket, which is too much on my sisters, on my daughters, on my mothers, so that we release them a little bit and we balance. To me, that would be very okay. That would be one of the steps to support marriages.
Actually, just imagine a young girl who is properly brought up, properly tuned to be a rightful human being, and then lands on a crook.
And a crook, a man who has never ever been trained, a man who knows nothing about, nothing completely. Then you would have wasted this young girl. And sometimes I tell people that, my friend, you have wasted your wife for many men. Your wife should have married somebody else. Why? Because sometimes you become annoyed. You see a man spoiling somebody's daughter who is almost everything, a donkey in a home, a provider, everything. And you wonder. But then later on I realized it was not this mistake. Nobody tuning. It's like a radio. There are those radios of 80s. You tune. You fine tune to a frequency that you can get it well. But many men, you know me well. I like to say kwara kwara. Many men are just kwara 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 kwara. You don't get it. So we need to intentionally start raising up our children. I have a son, and when he was going back to school, he's now in senior 6. I told him, I said, you are now going to senior 6. And 1 year in senior 6, 3 years in the university, that is 4 years. And after 4 years, I expect to house you for 1 year, that is 5 years. So immediately after 5 years, I am ready to marry for you a wife. What do I mean? I am now saying, I don't want you to get engaged into sex, but I will be happy immediately you finish senior 6 to know what kind of friends you walk around. It will help me to give you a choice. Not a choice, at least to advise you. What am I trying to drive here? Because I sit with my son. What my father has not done to me, I don't blame him, but I need to give it to my son because he's my pride. He's my future. I don't want to see my son running around with ladies. I don't want to see him failing in marriage. I don't want to see him getting lost in issues of money in marriage. I have to fine-tune him right now. And if you can also do it to my grandson, you can do it to other people. Oh, to God be the glory.
Very interesting things. Now, let's look at management of these resources.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Who do you think would manage this better? When the salary has come, when the monies have come, when the resources have come, they are now on the table. Who is in a better state to manage this, to manage the resources very well?
Thank you. To me, I could say all of them. The wife and the husband, or the couple, they are in a better position to manage their resources. One of it, I could call it as to be a good steward. Just be a good steward. Being a good steward does not mean only one person, does not mean only a man. There are some ladies who testified to me, they have their ATM card with their husband, so that when the money comes at the end of the month, she's not the one who is planning. The husband is the one who is planning. That is good. But to me, I would say it might even prompt him to pop up, to be proud, to brag around. But it would be good if the two of them could do what I call a good steward. Being a priest, I picked this from Paul's letter to Philippians chapter 4, verses 19. We talk about prayer. In everything, pray about it. Now, one, if you are a good steward, number one, you will know how to get it. Even when you are getting from your wife, you will be a good steward. You will receive it well, you plan for it, which I will talk later on, and then you spend it well. So if a wife and a husband could sit down, whether all of them are working and they bring money home, can you bring your money home? Whether in the bank, bring the accountability this year or this month, they have increased my salary from 2 million to 4.5. And then the wife also said, oh, mine is 1.8. You plan together. You are a good steward. You plan for your money and you get value of your money. And even when you have prayed about it and you have got it, how do you manage it? You also need to talk about it. If you don't talk about it, by the way, money is alive. Do you know that? Money is a living thing. If you don't want to talk about money, then money will fly away. Then money will cause you problem. Money will make you hate one another. Because if I have my money, I sleep thinking about my money, my wife sleep thinking about our money, tomorrow she will wake up with different ideas. I will also wake up with another ideas. Then we are divided. Then we are not a good steward. Number two is to be transparent about your money. I talk about how much do you earn. Mine, even my little child knows how much I earn. Because we have our time when we sit for our family meetings. Every week we have devotion 3 times in a week. And I know when the month is ending, I tell them, this month my salary has increased. And this is how much I'm earning. And this is how I was thinking I should spend it. What about you? What do you have about this? Because I want to teach them, tomorrow when they go to their home, they do the same. So I don't need to keep quiet. I need to be transparent about my money. So I encourage parents to be transparent about their money. I encourage spouses to be transparent. In Proverbs chapter 11 verse 1, the Lord says, I hate people with dishonest scale. I hate people with dishonest scale, but I am happy with honest weights. Now, if I have 1 million in my money, in my pocket, but I only bring 600 before my wife and say, this is what I've got, is God happy with me? It's not, which means I'm not transparent. Even my wife, if you maybe, let me not talk about my wife, let me talk about ladies, maybe women or a wife in the house. If you work and you get money, and this is one of the biggest problems that bring problems, because lack of transparency. A lady, like in my tribe, I am an Acholi by tribe. And that's why many people say marrying a lady from Acholi is expensive, but it's not expensive.
Until you try one.
Until you try one. Why?
When
because
you try one from Arua, then you believe Arua is more expensive.
I know. Why? Because for us, once you have married her, you have married her. Not for beating, not for what. You have married even her honesty. Whatever she will get, she will bring it to your home. And I normally tell people, not only in my tribe, if you have already been married, either in that family, you have come to that home. I'm not saying you have abandoned your parent, but everything you work for should be to build your family. That is where you will die. That is where you will be buried. Now, assuming you work and take money back to your brothers, your fathers, what if also your brother's wife take that money to her home? Now, where will the money be? You can support me as your brother. You can come and visit me as your father, but come together with your husband. So, I talk about transparency. Let's value where God has taken you. And Emma, number 3, before I leave it to you, I think the issue of creating a budget is very important. You remember in the Bible when Jesus talked about who among you who will start building without sitting down to plan. You have to plan. If you have enough money to build the structure, then you do it. Even in marriage, because if you're transparent, you sit and plan for your money. Make your budget. This month, we have these children to pay at school. We have to pay this money for the land. We have to pay this money we put in account. You plan together. Sit with your wife, sit with your husband, plan, and trust me, you will never go wrong. You will never. So if these 3, of course there are others. Now later on I will tell you more.
Very interesting. Now ladies out there who keep saying esente yechikazi, esente yechikazi, esente yechikazi, you want to be sure that there is no money that looks like that. All the money has a signature of the governor, Bank of Uganda. And all currency in Uganda is not property of women. It is property of Uganda. So money is meant to circulate and put it to rightful use.
And before you leave that point, I've ever seen this campaign of they call it Chimeza over something. Akameza. Yeah. Akameza is going to bring a lot of problem in marriages right now. Because if we don't sit and plan how to spend our money, then we will be looking at that small akameza, that small money you leave on the table. Because you depend on, for us we say you become like a goalkeeper. They kick, you get it. A goalkeeper doesn't play, only waiting. So, but if you sit and plan, you'll know how to play the game smartly. So I encourage couple as well to plan, not to look only at the kameza. And yet sometime you have the kameza, it increased. You keep it for long. After 2 months, you might have at least maybe 500,000. But then you spend about 200, 300, you keep it. I will be happy when my sister, my wife, my daughter, after 2 months can say, oh, darling, there's some money that you have been giving me. I have kept now. I have 300. This one can buy a goat. Don't you see that? Then you will make money as a resource, not to be a challenge in marriage, but it will be a great support in the home.
So in other words, you can hear from Reverend James is saying money should be a resource for development and not to cause chaos
no.
in our families here and there. You want to be interesting that the Bible itself teaches, I don't say teaches, it says money is the root cause
of all evils.
Does it say money or the love of money?
It's still money. When you leave the issue of love, then you start from money. If you said love of money is that
so money is not evil.
Money is not evil. Like I told you, it can be a good slave, but it can also be a bad master.
Money can be a good
slave to do whatever you want, but it can also be a bad master. It will direct you to do. It can make you proud on your wife, on your husband, and said, what is it that you have? What do you bring? I am the one doing everything in the house. So if that's the case, Nkoye, let me go. And she will leave you there and start a new life. What will you say? Nothing.
I read a story somewhere recently where a lady kept saving monies from the Kameza money until she was able to build a house without the man's knowledge. And one time, somewhere, somehow, some info moved out, so the man tiptoed and followed the woman, only to find a full house, from the Kameza money.
That's true.
And the man fainted.
Yeah, and you can even die, because you could not expect that to come from your own wife. It will be good if you save, like I said, save it, then bounce it back on the table. Said, from the table, I was able to get this. Can we plan? I had an idea. Like, Emma, this is a time of testimony and whatever. Thank God, I have a home. And I think you have been to my home.
Yes, I have.
That home, I built it 100% with my money. But 120% is a credit to my wife. Why? Because she put pressure on me. If you don't buy land, I will not be your friend. I got money, I bought the land. Within no time, I could give her money. She called me home. I found about 8 trips, heaps of bricks she poured down. I said, oh my God, what was I doing before marrying this lady earlier? So let it be on the table, but allow it also to bounce back on the table. You would have sorted out the whole issue.
Many men are poor and broke out because they think having a woman or a wife is an expenditure. I must tell somebody out there that some of us who are married now, I have a very beautiful wife at home called Doreen. I used to think I was saving. Little did I know I was spending too much. I would go and buy chips and chicken and a bottle of soda. Before you notice, I am spending over 30,000 shillings. And yet, preparing a meal for an entire family would cost 15,000.
Even sometimes less.
Sometimes less than that. And so before you notice, you find you are saving a lot more money than you should have spent.
So even Emma, as we now bring this to where you want it to stop, you have given me a heart to agree with you on this point. And I want to encourage all the couples outside there. Please learn to spend on your friend. Learn to spend on your spouse. As a clergy, we call them spices. Learn to spend on your spice. That is your husband or your wife. If what you get, assuming I've got money today from here and on my way back home, I've seen a nice dress of maybe even 200,000. I buy it for my wife. I buy a phone for my wife. Or I buy a car and I give to my wife. Or I said, oh, honey, this is the money. I got some money excess. Can you keep this money? So I want to invite your friends, learn to spend on your spouse. If you do that, there'll be no issue of money breaking marriages.
How about
not at all.
If they're not yet married?
If you're not married, then save money, because trust me, I know you will marry.
No, what I mean is if you're in a relationship, should they spend on...
No, I don't encourage it. I'm not a stinky man, but I don't over-encourage it. Because sometimes, if you start spending on your friend, like maybe a girlfriend, before you get hooked or married together, trust me, she will think you have a lot of money. By the time you will marry her, because money will dry off. When money is off, she will say, now you don't love me. Before I came to your home, you spend money on me. Now I am in your house, you are not giving me anything. So that will be the beginning of breaking. And that's true. And havoc in the house. So, and that one, so I love this word, dream together. If you can dream together, you can plan together. You know, even when you're in courtship, because it's good. I always tell people, there's nowhere, it is not even biblical, where you go and get a lady walking on the street and you carry and say, I marry you today. Of course, you have to talk. You have to tell her, I love you. Now, even when you're in that moment of courtship, you can still dream together. You can still plan together. Because in courtship, other than telling lies, sometimes what happens? So when I dream together, I tell you, look here, my sister. My idea why I want to marry you, I've seen something good in you. You are the material that I want to marry. And I want you to help me. I have my weakness. Yes, I get money, but I don't know how to plan. So I want you to help me, and we plan for this money. You would have opened her hearts wider to know that you trust her. And even when tomorrow you lack money, that trust that you had given in her earlier, she will still work on that trust and say, no, maybe a matter of time. My husband loves me. He trusts me. That's why today I am who I am. Because we started dreaming together. Dreaming that when we get married, we want to have children. I want to buy a car. I want to build a house. You dream together. It is biblical. To me, that is wonderful.
It is very good to dream together and make life move together. I can assure you, with proper management of money, you will master the money rather than money master you. But don't forget Reverend James's last words, where he says, spend on your wife, spend on your husband. It doesn't matter who you are, whether you're the wife, spend on your husband. If you're the husband, spend on your wife. Don't let money master you, master the money so that you are a rich man. And being rich is never having money. Being rich is making use of the money that you have. From me and the team here, it's a good night. God bless you, and God bless Uganda. Till we meet again next Tuesday. Take good care of yourselves.